Hello, everybody. This is Anna and Brian from Amara Work Podcast, and today we have our next guest for AI episode, Arzu, who is the founder of Arzu Creative MDS. Hi, Arzu. How are you?
Hi Anna, thank you so much for having me, and actually being in here is super excited for me, and I'm really looking forward to explain all details about AI. So thank you so much for Brian and Anna.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and maybe we can start probably with your background, and so our listeners can understand your journey and how you came up to where you are right now with your company.
Yeah, actually, I would like to make at a glance a journey explanation because my process is quite experimental. My background actually is landscape architecture, and after that, I turned my background to game designer by taking a master degree on game design and computer animations. So after that, on my process, everything evolved so experimental because it was quite creative. You know, on landscape architecture profession, you are learning to create something more architectural. But after that, you are evolving your career like a creative director of the events with the huge scenes, stages, and like branding mock-ups. And actually, you are integrating your architectural skills into like brand experiences, like brand activations or experiences, creative experiences. And after that, you were working with the digital scenes, and in that years I met with the digital backgrounds like generative art or something like that. This kind of like that digital culture always invited to me to meet much more like generative AI, like game design. So that's why my journey evolved like that. Actually, sometimes I explain myself like an experimental artist, or sometimes like an experimental creative director, or sometimes I say game designer. And when I say like the people always saying to me like that, oh my God, too much titles. But if you're a creative person, this kind of things are too normal for you because you know the main sense. So that's why you're integrating these things that. So first of all, yeah, I mentioned that I started my career as a landscape architecture, then turned my career as a creative director, and on my creative director role I started work with United Nations Development Program, and that years was exactly exciting for me because in that years I learned too much important things about climate issues, sustainable development goals, and we created too much excited events and projects about that. And being as a creative director in that project was so excited for me. And in that years, actually, it was like, I will explain later, but happened really interesting things, and I decided to start a master degree on game design. So with my game design career, actually end of the process, I established a small startup team where we make a simulation game through Unreal Engine. So after that, I decided to move to London to develop my practice on an international area, to learn much more cutting edge technologies and involve like that AI and emerging technologies more closely. And I came to here, so I established Arzu Creative MDS, and Arzu Creative MDS is a multidisciplinary creative studio, design studio actually. Actually, that means that multidisciplinary design studio MDS, the main sense of that. So I established that business like 2021. Years. It's happened like 3 years, and the years probably I was probably one of the people who are interested with generative AI in the years, because exactly I remember that, hey, I doing generative AI something, and can I make a business with you about that? And everybody is looking at me like that. what does it mean? Actually, generative AI, it's not a so new term, but the years creating something like that creative output was not familiar for the people. So that was the years a little bit tough, but it's okay, still acceptable. And since that 3 years, I continue our works creating creative projects, training, consultation, workshop, and speaking practices like involving to the events and inspiring the people about these new technologies. We are continuing our business currently like that. I hope I could explain in a summer way. I don't know. It's really complicated process, but it was so enjoyable process for me.
Yeah, so maybe, just developing on that just a little bit, like, as you were going about, your projects, what made you, I guess, attracted to the field of AI, and what was your, I guess, first experience, what inspired you to start incorporating, AI more into your work?
Yeah, actually, exactly. I remember the first years about my interest to AI. I was at on my master degree at university on game design, and actually everyone was applied that course to learn to make game design, but a little bit oppositely and interestingly, I was the person who asked the teacher like that. I showed to my teacher the works that generated with generative art like that. Hey teacher, how can I generate these things? Because I'm planning to generate some images, and I found some structure from Google Collapse because that years there were different structures, templates that you can type the algorithms and that you can receive that images. So when I asked to my teacher like that, he said to me like that, hey Arzu, this is a big project and it's really hard to do that only you. But I was like that, oh my God, I need to find a way to do that. So probably my teacher thinking after Midjourney release like that, oh my God, Arzu asked me this question before lunch Midjourney. She imagined that, but I didn't listen her. But anyway, he was right about that because, Midjourney, it's really big company because they need to collect so much data about that. And I was only me. So my artworks probably wasn't enough to generate typical like that AI art generation tool. Joke aside, and my journey started like that. After that, while I designing a game design, on the other side of my brain, I always searching the way how can I learn generative art, and after that I passed to my career generative AI, because generative art and generative AI is a little bit different, as you know, because in generative art you are using your algorithms, your numbers to generate some visual effects. On the generative AI, you are using much more generative tools to generate your products. So these are a little bit differences between those. Yeah, my journey started with that question, actually. Actually, it was a project idea.
And maybe can you tell us a little bit more what are you currently doing in your kind of like company, and as a founder, just like how do you experience of like different projects connected to AI? So if you can share some of that in case you sign some NDA, maybe just like we don't want to breach it. But if you have like any like of your favorites one you can share, that would be great.
Yeah, it would be so excited to share, actually, and thank you so much for this lovely question. And actually, currently, actually, I can start like that. I exactly remember my first commercial job on generative AI like 3 years ago. I got an invitation from event which held in Turkey with the support of British Council. There was an event. That event was a game design event, but was organizing by architectural sites, architectures. They were organizing these things. So in that conference, they wanted to show how they can interact architecture, AI and game design together. That was a 3 days program. And in that 3 days program, they learned some tricks about architecture and some tricks about game design and some tricks about generative AI. Because, if you want to generate a game design, you have a level design session. And that level design session, it's to know some architectural information might be really helpful to organize that environment or something like that. So with that information, they learned GDD, Game Design Document Principles, in their courses. And at the same time, this course was intensive program, and they need to learn to generate their contents in a fastest way, in a rapid way. That's why I showed them how can they generate their content with AI in a fastest way. AI is a cool way to generate your content. Actually, to use AI as a concept, it might be more nice in today's level, because sometimes you can face with IP problems, or sometimes your result might not be so perfect. That's why on the concept session, to know generative AI might be really helpful for game design and architectural process. We started like inspirational speaking sessions with the Arzu Creative MDS. Then we turned our contents like that. For example, on the Christmas event, my customer reached me to ask, "Hey Arzu, we want to create a unique gift as a Christmas gift, and we are looking for a unique way how we can do that." And I offered them like, "Hey, we can generate something with AI and AI into AR and AI integration, because with AI we can generate so much unique concepts, and at the same time we can present this idea with augmented reality technology as a digital celebration, digital card that you can reach through your computer. Imagine that you are receiving an email, and in that email you have a QR code, and you are curious about that, and you are opening, oh my God, you have a augmented reality digital gift. So we generated like that project with one of my customer. And currently, we are working on a training, educational training for primary school level children. We are planning to learn how they can learn to utilize from AI and emerging technologies to improve their creative skills. So right now we are working on this project. I hope it works very well, and I'm really looking forward to see the results of that project. Actually. So like that. Actually, there are lots of things, but kind of like that sessions. While you are speaking, you are forgetting so much details, and I don't want to extend and I don't want to make confusing the topic with more details, so I just try to keep simple.
No, don't worry. I think that sounds like a really interesting project. Probably I want to kind of dive a little bit deeper into that. Especially, I'm really curious about sort of the interaction with, you said you're working with children, like, and how you're helping them use the technology. So when I think of children in, creativity is normally, drawing and painting on like pieces of paper or come out with really
Yes.
cute, interesting photos. But how have they been interacting with AI? Like, how have they been sort of using that to generate, I guess, the graphics? And do you think they're doing anything differently compared to adults? Because adults obviously they kind of know what they're doing, but it's quite interesting to see what children is asking AI to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah. I just dropped my notebook.
The worst.
Too excited.
But my face happened like that. Oh my God, this question is so... Yeah, actually this process is so exciting because on our current level, we try to explore their feedback across to our process, because that kind of age group has a low patient level, so quickly they can be distracted like that. Oh my God, I don't want to do that. So I think that was the hard part of our process, but right now we are definitely elevating and assessing the process, how does it going like that. So we don't want to apart physical process from AI, because we really wanted to keep integrated to keep their motor skills, their physical behaviors keep alive. It's much more important for us. Then we want to integrate their physical skills into digital skills. That's why we try to show them, first of all, you should skate something. Actually, I have really explanative post about that on my LinkedIn account. Maybe I can share the details with that. And like in that post, we are drawing some sketch, but so basic sketch, and then we are teaching how can they. For example, like rendered results, how they can turn that sketch into like rendered results through AI. So seeing their faces, gestures after that sessions is really exciting, because they are like that. Oh my God! But as I told, like that, to keeping their patient level high. That's the hard part currently.
But I think it's really important right now to teach our kids, like the next generation, how to work with AI. What do they need to be aware of? What kind of dangers of the AI? And so because I think it will be applicable more and I think was it in China, I think from September they have some classes that is just specifically directed to related to AI, so they're trying to prepare their next generation. Yeah, but from your perspective, what you saw from even other industries, what are kind of the biggest pain points right now to adopt AI? And
Actually, I can explain there are lots of bottlenecks, because trust is most important topic in it, and IP definitely another topic, because right now most of creators are thinking in this way. Yes, until today we generated lots of creative artworks, and we don't know how the company is trained these data. This is really important question, because most of us don't know anything about that. So on the other side, probably most of all seeing some TikTok videos or Instagram videos, and that videos, actually we cannot feel like, hey, this is so much emotional result, because especially last week, on the feed, there were lots of Ghibli style. So
Yep.
it was terrible. And actually, there were really fun meme about that because everyone was talking about that. Hey, AI will replace our jobs, but at that moment, one working front of the computer, and boss is coming and checking. At that time, that worker was working with ChatGPT to generate Ghibli style, something like that. So that meme was so funny. Yeah. I think that field is too much important because probably for the future, most of the companies will generate commercial outputs, videos, advertisement, or movies maybe. Maybe Netflix completely replaced their videos with AI one. We don't know anything about that. These are just our predictions about the future. But in that process will be so important to get the real sense, get the real gesture while you are watching. Because that fake effect might not be too interactive with the audiences. So that might be important point. On the other side, actually, everybody doesn't aware to use AI in ethical way. This is another important topic. We are, all, for example, me, while I creating as a project or something like that, I always thinking twice because it's too tricky, it's too dangerous. So that's why, but we don't know. There are lots of people, they are just taking a video from anywhere and uploading that video into the system. And we don't know what the company is doing with that video. Are they accepting that videos to train their data or tools, or they don't? We don't know anything about that. So that's why another topic that data will come to these companies. And I think as a creative entrepreneur with my small business, my another bottlenecks on that area, I think it's like a big fish and small fish. You know, when technology evolved, big companies always have a big chance than the small ones. You know, as a small business, you are generating a project idea and you are trying to reach to the companies with that idea or that business. And these things might be really hard because at that moment, there are lots of people like you. But in that process, the companies are preferring to make inside changes. You know, they have already an in-house creative team and they are thinking like that, hey, we can change our skills and we don't need an outsourced creative teams for that. So to reach that companies has really big steps for the small businesses. So I know that problem really closely because every day I'm facing with that problem. You always have to create so much ideas to find more customer, but for that technological area, if you cannot find a new customer, your process might be really hard. So another issue is that big fish, small fish, I think.
Yeah, I guess sort of on that topic as well, like what kind of advice would you give to sort of other creatives who want to step into this field, and how can they start to differentiate themselves from I guess any other in-house or anybody who's just using AI to create simple Ghibli photos? Like what what should, I guess, creatives start to think about to really help themselves be more attractive to those companies?
Yeah. Actually, my advice to creative peoples and creative minds, they definitely see AI. I will laugh because every time we say, please see as AI is a creative tool, not like that. So whenever I say that things, I always laughing like that. But anyway, I will say that AI is just a tool that will not replace you. And yes, actually, in today, AI tools and AI information is like your third hand. You know, on your creative process, you were using your hands to use your mouse or your materials or something like that, or you were collaborating with another people, but sometimes it might be really hard to complete with another people because there are lots of factors. And right now with AI, you have a chance like that. You can imagine yourself like an AI director. And through AI tools, you can ask to them your questions, or maybe you can find your concepts, or maybe you can find your ideas, and you can utilize from AI as a supportive way. So if you utilize from this way, AI is really good, really helpful. But definitely, I don't advise to copy directly everything because you are a human and you have to be original, unique, because your output should be your style, should be your language. So that's why definitely I advise to be original. I advise to integrate their interpretations into their process. I think this is most important advice by me to them.
And so maybe we can move to like hopes and predictions for the future of the field and your own projects, and as well because you mentioned at the very beginning that you had some experience with United Nations as well. Do you think that maybe AI could be like a key to some of like issues in the world and they can raise awareness or something, especially like if you're combining like creative and AI, so just like it could be very powerful in some cases. So if you have some
Actually, I should say that this question was really good because these days, for example, climate issues or some environmental impacts, these topics are really important things. So with AI, you have a chance to find solutions today, but at the same time, you have a chance to find some important points about the future. On that point, you can train your project, your datas through like that informations. For example, you can collect so much environmental issues or climate issues, and then you can generate some solutions through the AI. And you can create really great awarenesses about that. So on that point, your question is very well, because always we have a good chance, always we have a good perspective. When you look at the picture, always you have a chance to interpret that picture as a good side or bad side. This is definitely your preferences. In that point, if you have a new tool and if you have a new technology, always you have a two chance. And in that chance, one of it, you could prefer to collect really useful, really beneficial informations to train your AI to find solutions about the future, about humanity, about human creativity. You can utilize from AI in a good way like that. And if they are preferring to use AI in that way, AI will be evolved really good way for humanity. But if you prefer to train your AI in a bad way, AI will be dangerous for all of us. So my predictions, always positive. Definitely. I should say that because we are living in a world with various people, and good people like us will train AI for the benefits of humanity. So my all opinions are positive about AI for the future.
And it's just like try to be. I think just because most of the time the companies, they're training AI on what's out in the internet, so try to put your best foot forward when you're online. Try not to swear a lot, so because I think this is what we're basically training AI on. Is like if you're looking in some places, like some comments, and it's just like, oh my god, like what's wrong with you people? Yes.
That's good for you. Oh my god, what's going on?
Lovely. I think, unfortunately, we are coming up to the end of the time. So,
wow.
Very quick.
Flew by. It was so fun.
Yeah, but, we still have a few minutes, so I'd like to leave the last few minutes for yourself if you want to leave any last words to our listeners. And also, how can, if people are interested to find out more about your work and to, I guess, keep up to date with your projects, where can they find out and where's the best place to reach out?
Actually, currently I always posting so useful information through LinkedIn, and at the same time I'm trying to generate some content for YouTube, but my YouTube site is not too much active. But this year will be active. At least I will try to do that. They can follow me on YouTube, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, but at the same time they can subscribe through my website at Arzu Creative MDS, because always I'm sharing inspirational information about that. At the same time, as a services and consultation, I give so much useful ideas, projects, and something like that I give the people, so they can reach me through that channels. And yes, and as a my last word, I would like to say thank you so much, because the energy was so lovely, and I didn't understand how that time flight by. So that's so lovely.
30 minutes is like that quick. It's just like, but we'll be sure to include all of the links into the description so you can connect easily with Arzu. But thank you so much for doing this episode with us. I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
It's been great having you. And to all our listeners and watchers, thank you for sticking around and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.